Welcome to the Penguin Rundown. I'm Zach Humphreys.
And I'm Pat Andrews.
Youngstown State football team played host to North Dakota State this past Saturday. Let's go to the highlights. We'll pick it up in the first quarter. Penguins, after a field goal by Stephen Blows, looking to get another one in. Kurt Hess working the option read, keeps and finds the end zone to give the Penguins a 10-0 advantage.
Yeah, no defensive end going for the contain on the running back. Hess takes it up the middle, taking advantage, putting the Penguins on the board with 6.
In the second, Hess showing off the arm now. He finds big play Barnes down the sideline, giving the Penguins a 17-7 advantage as he was ragdolled into the end zone.
Yeah, what can't Barnes do? We've seen him against Penn State, 80 yards. He had a punt return for a touchdown this year, and there he is, another big play, just like you said, from Dominique Barnes.
After North Dakota State scored a touchdown, 5'5" Mike Seegers gets the ball, and he can just fly. He runs away from every Penguin defender on the field and eventually finds the house. He gave North Dakota State their first lead at 21-17.
The Penguins had a couple of chances to wrap him up at the line of scrimmage, but those arm tackles aren't going to work at this level, and he ran right through them.
After another North Dakota State touchdown to make it 28-20, YSU would drive. Bellamy loses the football here into the end zone, and eventually goes out of the end zone for a touchback. Big mistake by the freshman.
Proved to be costly towards the end of the game. Hate to see that happen, especially, going in, changing momentum.
He would redeems himself, though. He comes back here and bangs into the end zone, brings the Penguins back within 2, but they would fail to get that 2-point conversion.
Like I was about to say, fortunately they got back down into that area and he was able to redeem himself.
Penguins would hold on D and set up this 38-yard field goal that was pure by Stephen Blows with 50 seconds left. The Penguins had their lead back 29-28, but it's not over. After a return to the North Dakota State 45-yard line, Jose Moeller finds Justin Howard over the middle. How did he get that open? We will never know. He will go into the end zone, and eventually North Dakota State comes out on top in this one. 34-29 is your final. There you see the number. Kurt Hess, 22 of 31 for 252 yards for 1 touchdown. Adarius Bellamy, although he did have the fumble, had a good day on the ground. 21 carries, 158 yards for a score. Stephen Blows, 2 for 2 from field goals. Dominique Barnes had another day at the office. 10 catches, 151 yards, and a touchdown for the wide receiver.
Now we'll take a look at the Missouri Valley standings. Western Illinois, Southern Illinois, and Northern Iowa lead the way in the conference. Illinois State sitting just a half game back at 2-2. Missouri State and Indiana State sitting at 1-1, and then a 3-way tie at the bottom, which includes the Penguins also sitting there with North Dakota State and South Dakota State getting a win this past weekend.
Still wide open for the Penguins.
Yeah, so Penguins only 1 game out. It's still very open for actually everyone in the conference. It could be won and lost just in the next couple weeks. It'll be an important couple weeks for the Penguins.
Let's see what Eric Wolford had to say after this one.
Make a decision, look each other in the eyes, start player for player, coach for coach, and hold each other accountable. And I'm going to get referees out there at practice. I'm going to scrutinize this film here and see exactly, are those calls legit or not. And we'll find out. We'll get it corrected. And from what I hear, this thing's still wide open. We could play. It's just a matter whether we decide to play for 4 quarters or not. And, their attitude's right. We just got to kind of quit making those foolish penalties at foolish times.
480 yards total offense, and you look at those fumbles.
Well, we fumbled going in the end zone. Freshman. Fumble on the zone read option. Fumble. Freshman. I don't care if you're a freshman or not. I expect you to play like you've been here. We're 6 games into this thing. We brought you here to play, and you need to play. We talk about ball security every day. You have a job to do, and that's what I expect you to do.
Penguin soccer team in action twice this past weekend. No highlights from the action, but we have a couple of box scores for you. This past Friday at Stambaugh, Youngstown State drops one to Detroit, 4-1. The loss drops Youngstown State to 1-4 in the division, or in the conference, and bumps Detroit to 2-1-1 in the Horizon League. Nicole Klein with 7 saves. Allison Ludwig with the goal for the Penguins. That ties a freshman record.
Yeah, she ties Lauren Brennan, the lone senior of the bunch for the Twins.
So congratulations to Allison. As you can see, YSU with 7 shots on goal. That was Friday's action. Let's take you to Sunday now, as Youngstown State traveled to Loyola and fell 1-0. Not a lot going for Youngstown State, only 5 shots on goal. That'll drop them to 1-5 in the Horizon League. Loyola, as you can see, with 8 saves, getting the play for Klein, and not disappointing, 8 saves, a pretty impressive number still. unable to keep them all out as the Penguins do drop. Now Zach, why don't you run down the Horizon League standings for us?
Yeah, the Horizon League standings, Detroit that just beat the Penguins. They're up top, 3-1-1. Loyola tied right there with them, 3-1-1. Milwaukee's 3-1-0. Cleveland State 3-2-0 right in the middle with Butler at 3-1-0. Wright State 2-2-0. Valparaiso 1-3-1. Youngstown State in the 8-hole at 1-5-0. Green Bay at the bottom at 0-3-1. Youngstown State volleyball was also in action. A couple highlights for you, and then a couple box scores. We'll go to the highlights first. We pick it up here from the Beagley Center. Wright State invaded the Beagley Center, and a lot of frontliners for Wright State. Just too much to handle. There's DeAmbrose, the freshman setter. A lot of good things up front for the Penguins early, but couldn't really hold on to anything late into sets. Wright State really dominated that part of those games.
Like you said, four-setter, very close match in every set. Like you said, Wright State just able to eke them out towards the end was basically the difference. YSU, it's been the case all year, haven't been able to close out sets when they've had a lead or really be able to come back if need be.
Yeah, a couple freshmen for the Penguins led the way. Marissa Hundout had 19 kills in that one. 25-23, 25-18, 25-27, 27-25 were the numbers. Wright State took it 3-1. They moved to 2-3 in the conference. Youngstown State still winless. Brittany Grove added 6 kills. Danny Soublier, who's been a consistent contributor all season, added 34 assists for the Penguins.
The very next night at the Beagley Center, the Penguins hosted the Butler Bulldogs. As we can see, there's a score 14-6 in the first set. Soublier, one of those kind of set kills, sneaking it over the front line. We see her do that time after time for the Penguins. But you see Butler sneaking one in on the Penguins. Soublier's serve.
Butler just too much offensively, along with Jessica Wolf, their main girl in the front side, had 11 kills leading the way for them. And again, it was a tale of just late in the sets, Penguins would crumble as Marissa Hundout unable to get to that one on the backside. 3-0, Butler took it. They are 5-1 in the league. Youngstown falls to 0-6. 25-16, 25-16, 25-15 were the numbers. Danny Soublier actually led the team with 6 kills to setter. McNeil had 11 digs. YSU also had 9 service errors, which did not help the cause.
On Saturday, Youngstown State traveled to Loyola, Chicago, dropping that one 3-0. Sets being 27-25, 25-20, and 25-18. Loss sending Youngstown State to 0-7 in the Horizon League. Loyola picking up their first win, going to 1-6. Hundout led the way with 10 kills. Tasha Reed pitched in 7, and Soublier, like you said, the consistent setter for the team with 26 assists.
And moving further into that same day, Valparaiso took it to the Gwins 3-0. They went to 5-3 in the league. Youngstown falls to 0-8. 25-21, 25-21, 25-21. At least some consistency. Hundell had 12 kills, Reed 10 kills, Soublier with 27 assists.
And there you have our catch-up from this past week. Let's take a look at the week ahead for YSU. As you can see, volleyball and football both in action this Saturday. Volleyball will take the court against UIC here at the Beagley Center. That is a 2 p.m. start time. And football will be at Western Illinois at 6 p.m.
On October 18th and the 19th, men's golf will be at the Dayton Invitational. Women's golf will also be at the Dayton Invitational. Remember to follow YSU Athletics on the web, ysusports.com, facebook.com/YSU Sports, or Twitter @YSU Sports. And that'll do it for us. See you next week.